intended we escape. We did not escape. June 14th, 1941, we were taken.
I'd shut the door and caught sight of my face in the mirror. I had no idea how quickly it was to change, to fade. If I had, I would have stared at it, memorizing it. It was the last time that I would look at a real mirror for more than a decade.
How would you feel if you were ripped away from your home, your family separated, all for a crime that you did not commit? I'm sure I would feel angry and sad and terrified, but Lena, a small girl from Lithuania, has to deal with these emotions and so much more in Between the Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. An NKVD officer grabbed Jonas by the shoulder and began to drag him away. No! They were taking Jonas, my sweet, beautiful little brother. Mother began to speak in Russian, pure, fluent Russian, and she reached in her pocket and pulled out a bundle of rubles, exposing it slightly to the officer. The NKVD officer snatched it up and began to talk, motioning with his head. Without a second thought, she reached up and ripped the amber pendant from her neck, pressing it into his hands. The NKVD officer still didn't seem to be satisfied. She reached into her coat and pulled out a golden pocket watch. It was her father's. The NKVD officer snatched it up, shoved Jonas at us, and began to yell at the people next to us. Have you ever wondered what a human life is worth? Well, that morning, my brother's was worth a pocket watch. I'm Jonas, and this is my sister Lena. Our father works at the university. The boy nods at me. I'm under surveillance, he says. I nod back and then look away. Do you think they let us out, even for a few minutes? The NKVD won't let us do much of anything. They called us pigs. Don't listen to them, Jonas. They're pigs. They're stupid pigs.
I wouldn't say that if I were you.
What are you? The police?
I just don't want you to get in trouble.
Don't get us in trouble, Lena. Be swift with the buckets, Lena. My steps are unsteady and my head is airy, and I nod and look up at our cart. Dirt and filth clung to their faces. Under smoked a cigarette and looked off the other way. I turned. I saw a wet, green field. Come here, it beckoned. Run. Maybe I should, I thought. Do it, Lena. Run, Lena. The buckets fly from my hands, and I see under slipping away with them. Lena, come back in, dear, Mother says. An NKVD officer looms over me. He grabs me by the shoulders and throws me back into the cart. Hope you enjoyed your bath, he says. It's now September 1943, and we are freezing. In school, we learned about polar night, where the sun falls below the horizon for 180 days. That's darkness for nearly half the year. I hadn't paid much attention to the lesson in school, but now my heart sank into my stomach where the vial began to chew at it. 4 people died in our very first snowstorm. Take this, Mother said, handing Jonas Father's wedding band. It's full of love. Nothing is more important. Jonas's frightened eyes search mine. No, he whispers, please. Mother looks up at Jonas and opens her mouth. Not a sound comes out. The trembling stops and her shoulders Jonas is now cradling her in his arms, and small whimpers become deep, racking sobs, shaking his entire body. And tears are beginning to stream down my face. "We can't let them take her," says Jonas. "I want to bury her. We can't let her get eaten by the foxes." "We won't," I assure him through my tears. "We'll make a coffin and we'll use the boards we sleep on." Mother's absence has left a gaping hole, like a mouth missing its front tooth. The internal darkness at camp became a shade darker. Amidst this polar night, our only son had slipped behind a cloud. I reached down and pulled out her suitcase, and inside were fresh, clean clothes, a light silk dress, her stockings and shoes without scuffs, her tube of lipstick, and Papa's clothes. My mother was freezing. She could have worn these clothes to stay warm, but she left them in there clean so she would have a nice set of clothing to return home to. She really had intended to return home. It's now March 22nd, my birthday, my forgotten birthday. What did I expect, Celebration. We barely had a scrap to eat, so I just won't say anything about it. It is my greatest hope that the letters inside this jar will stir your deepest well of human compassion, that it will prompt you to do something, say something. Only then can we assure that this kind of evil is never allowed to repeat itself. I began to walk 5 kilometers to the tree line, and that's when I saw it, a sliver of gold between the shades of gray. The sun had returned.